right, 3F Inner Circle members, let me know in the comments below if you would want to be in the inner circle of the Frankie from Flatbush channel if we create such a thing. First, we'd have to create it, then we have to get people in there. But if you want to be in the inner circle, where you get exclusive videos and all sorts of fun stuff just for you, not for the regular normies out there, only for the inner circle, let me know down below in the comments section. But other than that, right now, what we need to do, there's a lot of news going on, a lot of news happening, and I haven't been able to cover it as much as I wanted to because of various reasons, things I had to do. I had to record some audiobooks, had some projects, get them things out on the market. Okay. But now we're done with that. Well, to some extent. And so we can cover some news. So let's do a speed news round. How does that sound? Well, we're going to do it no matter what you say. So here we go. Let's check out some of these news items from the news around your New York Jets. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, well, let's get rid of this thing over here. Hang on a second. Get rid of this thing, Frankie. We don't need that. All right. Charlie Campbell. Who the hell's that? He's from Walter Football. Charlie Campbell. He says, rumors I'm hearing on the Jets opening via team sources. We don't know what these team sources are. Could be the Jets. What team? Do we know what team? Maybe is this the Jets or some other team? Team sources. We don't know. But Charlie Campbell says Rex Ryan is a real possibility. So is Brian Flores. Aaron Glenn is said to want the job. That could be huge. Phil Savage is a serious candidate to be permanent GM. He's the interim GM right now, in case you didn't know that. Savage knows the team better than the external candidates and is very experienced and well regarded around the league. That's true. He could work with any head coach. Ryan Flores, John Gruden's mentioned, Mike Vrabel, anybody. So to me, I've always said the most realistic guy that we could get probably is going to be Aaron Glenn. Probably Mike Vrabel's going to probably have a different team that he prefers, and then Ben Johnson is going to probably not prefer this job because we don't have a quarterback situation worked out. Same goes for Liam Cohen. So who does that leave? Aaron Glenn, former Jet, has ties to New York, knows the market, knows the owner, wants the job, very well regarded. And so, then you'd have to say, okay, who's the OC going on over here? But what if it was Aaron Glenn and Phil Savage? I got no problem with that. What if it was Aaron Glenn and one of the guys from Detroit, like Ray Agnew or John Dorsey? Wouldn't mind that either. So Aaron Glenn is very appealing for multiple reasons. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind Brian Flores. So we'll see how it goes. But this is the latest intel from Charlie Campbell, the draft man. He's got some intel from team sources. All right. What else? Well, what about these boys? Now, something to keep in mind about these guys here. Connor Rogers, I would say, is probably one of the best voices out there. Independent, not independent, you name it. You know it. Connor Rogers, excellent. And Joe Caporoso runs the Badlands. 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 So they put out some stuff, and I listen whenever he has old Connor on. This is the good Connor Rogers, and they say nix on Ryan. Not gonna. They throw cold water on that idea, but they also say Aaron Glenn would be approvable in their opinion when they give this opinion. It's looking like they're saying, well, no, Rex Ryan's not really realistic. They're kind of laughing at it, but they're saying Aaron Glenn is a good option. So that's what the Badlands guys are saying, and in particular, Connor Rogers. I wanted to call him out because he's one of the good ones, and he has a lot of sources inside the team around the league. He does independent media, but he also does legacy media. He's on SNY, so this is a good guy to listen to. Doesn't mean everything he says is right. Nobody, except for me, everything. Nobody is 100%. Not even me. Let's be honest. But Connor Rogers, he's the good Connor. If he's telling you something, it's because he believes in it, not because he's getting paid off by somebody. Let's hope anyway. So anyway, they throw cold water on Rex Ryan and they approve of Aaron Glenn. Well, what about Bert Breer? This guy right here, Albert Breer, has a new video out as of today. You can see in his mailbag, he's got two of the topics that concern us. What about Rex Ryan? And Bert over here throws cold water on that. So he's another guy saying Rex Ryan's not really a real candidate for the Jets, in his opinion. Now, Bert has many sources. Of course, this is a good reporter here, one of the national reporters, though I think he is based uh, in Patriot land somewhere up there. But nonetheless, he has good sources. He has good information, and he says yes, the Jets will interview Rex Ryan and so forth and so on. But they probably will not go with him at the end of the day. So if you're one of the people who are into obese clowns with a foot fetish, not looking too good. And if the Jets, I'm not in favor of Rex Ryan getting the job. Nice guy, funny guy, not the right coach for us. We don't need more clowns here in this clown show. Um, so no, he's a no for me. But more importantly, it doesn't matter about my opinion. What I try to do is read the tea leaves on what will actually happen. And some of the credible people are saying no on Rex Ryan. Now, J.J. McCarthy, Breer puts this guy, and this is a shift over to the quarterback situation a bit. Breer says for McCarthy, what the Vikings will do is put Sam Darnold onto the franchise tag. Now, if they do that, I am not going to be happy if I am Sam Darnold. His franchise tag is going to be about $40 million, so that's fine as far as the salary is concerned, but it's a 1 year deal. And so Breer makes this case based on what the Chargers did in 2004 and 5 with Philip Rivers and Drew Brees. Well, the problem is the players have come a long way since 2005. They know a lot more. There's social media. There's pressure they can put. If I was Sam Darnold and you put the franchise tag on me, I would say, fuck you. I'm sitting out. I'm not reporting to camp. I want a long term deal or I want to be traded to a team that will give me a long term deal. I'm not signing no franchise tag. First of all, the NFLPA got to get rid of this franchise tag once and for all in the next negotiations. But before that happens, the only thing you can really do is put pressure on the team by not reporting. And if I was Sam Darnold, I would go into the media and I would say, listen, I gave them about $50 million worth of value with my play this year. You can prove that statistically. Watch the tape, look at the wins, blah, blah, blah. And they paid me 10. I gave them significant excess value on the contract this year, and they want to reward me by slapping this dumb franchise tag upon me and limiting my ability to get a long term contract. Then, if I get hurt next year, what happens? Then if McCarthy develops and they give him the job and I'm a backup, then what happens? I want long-term security and I want it now. I'm going to sit out. So I don't think this plan of Burt Breer's would work because I think Darnold's too smart for that. Now maybe he's just a super nice guy, happy to work for 1 year, 40 million. Hey, that's a big salary anyway. So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about a guy who could command 120, 160, maybe 200 million. So for him and what he can get on the market, that is a bad deal. You never take 40 when you can get 160, right? That's just not what you want because you never know what could happen. He could get a serious injury. He could regress. He could have a bad year. You want to lock in as many dollars as you can as soon as you can when you're a professional athlete. It's just basic stuff. And if Sam Darnold were my client and I was an agent, I would tell the Vikings, we are not signing no franchise tag. We're not giving you a discount. No, siree, Bob. We're not making it easy on you. You better trade us or trade JJ if you want to, or do whatever you want with JJ. But you give us a 4 year contract at least, or maybe even 5, right? That's what we want. That's what I want for my client. So this idea that Breer has that Sam Darnold is just going to give them a deal of a lifetime, I don't think so. But that's his idea, and his idea is that uh, McCarthy's not going to be available for trade. So that's one of the options we have for quarterback. Probably one of the best options. Breer says it's not going to be an option. Now, if the Vikings do slap the franchise tag onto Darnold and he signs it and he doesn't make any big deal about it, he's like, yeah, I'll play for 40 for 1 year, no problem. Then you can forget McCarthy in the trade market because that means they're not trading McCarthy. They want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want to keep Darnold just in case, but they also want to develop McCarthy. In that case, no trades. He's off the market. We got to start looking at something else. So we'll see how that all plays out. All right, next news. Next news. Insider. Now this is Sportskeeda. You might be wondering what is Sportskeeda. It's a website started by a guy from India. It was acquired by a private equity firm from India. So this is an Indian website, and they're starting to branch out. So they got themselves Tony Pauline over here. This is a Tony Pauline article. If we go all the way to the top, Tony Pauline, you may remember, used to work for PFN, Pro Football Network. Then he worked for the 33rd team, and he left those organizations for one reason or another. Either he got fired, probably, or he quit. We don't know. But now he's working for Sports Gita. Whatever, that's not a word, but it's probably means something in India, in Indian language. We don't know. But anyway, now he's got these insider notes. So I thought I'd go over some of these here just in case, because, uh, after all, these things are out there. Now, the worst things about this is about old Brick Johnson, the internet surfer. So this has been, he goes into this and says, this has been a joke for a long time about Brick Johnson. And what's with these Johnsons naming these men naming them for their own penises? Like, what is that? Are you trying to make up for something? Do you really have a huge Johnson? Most people who have something excellent, they don't, you don't call yourselves Muscle Jones if you're really muscly guy. You don't call yourself Musclehead Jones, because everyone can see your muscle. You don't have to call attention to it. If you're a genius, you don't call yourself Brainiac Johnson, because everyone can tell you're a genius. You don't have to call attention to it. It's a little protesteth too much from these woodies and these bricks, if you get my meaning. But anyway, so this is a very weird report. So that he said, I put something out that said there was a joke going around that Brick is the de facto. Okay, you put out a joke. That's cool. But then now, one of the things that Pauline does, he goes down to the Senior Bowl and he makes a big deal about the Senior Bowl. And he's been going there for a long time with the Senior Bowl. Well, guess who else? My routine for the past 25 years at the Senior Bowl. And I could go down to the Senior Bowl. Well, guess who else can go down to the Senior Bowl? Me, you, anybody. Just get credentials. I got credentials a couple of years ago. It's super easy. You just ask for them. They give anybody credentials. So anybody can go down and get Senior Bowl credentials. So he plays it off like he's some super expert. But literally, I got them. I wanted to see if I could get them. That's really only, and I did. I got them. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to Alabama. Fuck that. But I got the credential. That's the important thing. I go, who the hell wants to go to Alabama? But anyway, um, so anyway, when we were down there, remember we had our whole staff down there when that year when we got picked for that, and just so happened that now his buddy, my buddy, we don't know who this is, anonymous sources, not good for journalism ethics when you use anonymous sources, rode with Joe Douglas, who was down there in the car to the place. And he says he complained about Woody and he complained about Brick. And then there was also a beat writer there. At some point, he said, we're told he's a handful, but we don't know who this beat writer is, unnamed. So apparently, Douglas was disturbed by this. Now, to what degree does this matter? One of the things I'm hoping is that the Johnsons look at these articles, whether it's from Sportskeeda or The Athletic. Now, Sportskeeda is kind of a joke, and Pauline is usually wrong about things, but sometimes he gets some things right. And obviously, other things have come out about Brick Johnson, okay? Little Brick Johnson. But and so what I'm hoping is that all of these news reports are shaming the Johnsons into going, okay, we're okay. Something, we've been behaving very badly here. Hey, obviously this is not what we want to do. We don't want to be the laughing stock. Let's hope they realize we don't want to be the laughing stock. We don't want to have the team that's just always being laughed at everywhere and always. We're not going to have these teenagers in the meeting anymore. We're not even going to have Woody in the meeting anymore. I mean, why does Woody need to be in these stupid meetings? He can if he wants to. He's the owner. He can do whatever he wants. But what does he really want? Does he want the team to be a laughing stock or does he want it to succeed? If you want the team to succeed, then we need to get real people in here.
Oh,
Excuse me. And we need to let them do their jobs. Now, he was pretty hands off in the beginning when he first started owning the team. Um, and then at times would be hands on. And then I think with this Rodgers situation, he got very frustrated and became very hands on. And that's when everything fell apart. Unfortunately for Saleh and Johnson. I mean, if Saleh and Douglas, for Saleh and Douglas, if Saleh and Douglas could have hit on the quarterback one way or another, whether it be Zach Wilson or whether Mike White could have stayed healthy and had his ribs hold up, or have Rodgers not blow out his Achilles. I mean, there's a lot of unfortunate series of events, for those two in terms of the quarterbacks that they had, just for that, and then offensive line injuries, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, the point is, hopefully, all of these news reports coming out like this is going to shame the Johnsons into changing. Because if they don't, what the hell are we going to do as fans? It's going to be bleak. Anyway, so that's the news as we know it as of today, January the 2nd, 2025. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time. And as always, stay frosty. Stay frosty out there. Important.
Non-pertinent. How do you log that non-pertinent?
no drug talk?
They use codes to hide their patron phone numbers. And when someone does use a phone, they don't use names. And if someone does use a name, he's reminded not to. All of that is valuable evidence.
Of what?
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy?
We're building something here, Detective. We're building it from scratch. All the pieces matter.